You want to place an NFL bet, but you don't know how to do that in Texas. We may or may not have you covered, hypothetically, of course. Each year, the NFL season offers many occasions for sports gambling in the United States. If you live in one of the 38 states that allow some form of legal sports betting, you likely don't have to get very creative about putting a little cash down on this year's Dallas Cowboys schedule. But if you live in Texas, taking part in such illicit activity isn't as straightforward. It's a little like getting high in Texas. Simple weed isn't legal, but a bunch of other things like weed are. You just have to know how to navigate the market, you see. It's also like trying to watch some free porn online in Texas since Attorney General Ken Paxton began waging war against Pornhub. You can still do it, and do it rather easily, as long as you follow an additional step or two. The federal ban on sports gambling was lifted a few years ago, but that hasn't made it legal in Texas. Sports gambling here is a Class C misdemeanor that can result in a $500 fine. To be clear, we're not suggesting you should bet on NFL games. No, that's not something we would do. We're simply letting you know that if you are the type of person who enjoys learning about how to do such things, then you can keep reading about how other people might do such things, like the rapper Drake. They may sound hard to reach from landlocked North Texas, but the most popular online offshore sportsbooks are remarkably easy to access, again, if that's something you were only wondering about. If you enjoy watching European soccer, it's very likely you already know the names of some popular online sportsbooks. According to Bookmakers Review, Bovada, BetOnline, and BetAnySports are 3 of the top offshore sites you can use right now. Players will also find that BetOnline's limits are designed to cater to everyone from novices to seasoned high rollers, the Bookmakers Review article reported. Regardless of your betting budget, you'll find exciting opportunities to get in on the action and profit from your sports knowledge. As a favorite for mobile wagering, Bovada got high marks for an expansive range of betting markets. For research purposes only, we might have set up accounts with both BetOnline and Bovada. As we potentially made our way through the sign-up and depositing requirements for both sites, we noticed the process was more or less identical to signing up for a DraftKings or FanDuel daily fantasy sports account, which is legal in Texas. Our debit card might have successfully made a small deposit into a new BetOnline account, while Bovada just might have told us to try depositing some various forms of crypto instead. If that was something we would actually do, we surely would have put a few bucks on the New Orleans Saints to beat the Cowboys in Week 2, since the real money is in betting on the underdog, after all. Similar to how Delta 8 and Delta 9 products bought legally across Texas can get you just as high as the illegal stuff, certain daily fantasy apps can satisfy your need to wager on the game almost as much as a popular gambling app can in a state that allows mobile sports betting. PrizePicks and Sleeper are 2 examples we tested out this year during the NCAA March Madness tournament and the first couple months of the Major League Baseball season. Both apps are completely legal in Texas, too. It's pretty silly just how close placing a prop bet in Sleeper is to placing one with a standard gambling app. There is a more limited range of possible bets with Sleeper and PrizePicks, with player-specific player predictions being the primary options available, as opposed to wagering on team results. Perhaps the primary differentiating element is that you cannot go into a negative balance with Sleeper or PrizePicks, the way you might be able to do with a buddy's bookie. And speaking of bookies, they're everywhere and they have an app for you to place your wagers in. After some less than exhaustive research, texting friends and family, we found that there's a good chance you know someone who places bets through a bookie, and chances are, they're more than happy to hook you up, hypothetically, of course. Can you help us continue to share our stories? Since the beginning, Dallas Observer has been defined as the free, independent voice of Dallas, and we'd like to keep it that way. Our members allow us to continue offering readers access to our incisive coverage of local news, food, and culture with no paywalls. Dak Prescott has struggled to lead the Cowboys deep into the playoffs. Derek Carr has had trouble getting his teams into the playoffs at all. These have been the main criticisms of the two veteran quarterbacks over nearly a decade in the NFL. Now, they will face off as Prescott's Cowboys and Carr's New Orleans Saints both start strong in their new quest for playoff success. "I'm focused on beating Derek Carr right now, Derek Carr and the Saints," Prescott said. "We'll think about the playoffs when we get there. I understand what has happened in the past, but it's important to stay focused on the present. It's week by week, and that's what we're concentrating on right now." The Cowboys, 1-0, head into their home opener on Sunday with a 16-game regular season winning streak at AT&T Stadium, following a 33-17 win at Cleveland. The Saints, 1-0, had the biggest scoring win of Week 1, defeating Carolina 47-10 at home. Dak Prescott gestures at the line in the second half. Dallas has made the playoffs for 3 straight years but has not been able to get past the divisional round since their last Super Bowl win at the end of the 1995 season. Carr, at 33 years old, has only made the playoffs twice and played in 1 game. A late-season injury ended his best chance in 9 seasons with the Raiders in Oakland and Las Vegas. After the Raiders decided to move on from Carr, he struggled early in his first season with the Saints but played well later on, with tiebreakers preventing New Orleans from joining Dallas in the NFC playoffs. As someone who has had to prepare against Derek and has also had Derek in the building, and as someone who's had to prepare against Dak, I have a lot of respect for both of those guys, said Saints coach Dennis Allen. Imagine the Dallas Cowboys, already a formidable force, transforming into an even more unstoppable team with just one strategic trade. The potential impact of such a move is immense and could significantly alter the team's dynamics. The game against the Cleveland Browns was a testament to the Cowboys' defense, showcasing its potential to be a dominant force this year. While the offense had challenges, the defense stood firm, providing a reassuring anchor for the team. The Dallas Cowboys offense faced the #1 defense from a year ago, and the stats showed it. The offense made a few big plays that boosted their stats, but aside from those plays, they looked rusty. Could the offense benefit from adding a player to help improve a specific aspect of their game and get Dak Prescott and the team performing at their best? What is the offense missing? The entire offense seemed to sputter at times. Could this be the new offensive lineman? A passing game that is not up to par yet? Or a running game lacking that extra gear? While Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb may have seemed slightly off, their timing is expected to return, significantly improving the passing game. The offensive line wasn't bad, but it wasn't great either. This issue should solve itself with the youth on the line getting more experience. The one glaring need seemed to be the running game. Ezekiel Elliott looked decent in the first game back as a Dallas Cowboy. Ezekiel Elliott had 10 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown. Those are not terrible numbers for a running back who is supposed to be over the hill in terms of NFL running backs. Rico Dowdle and Deuce Vaughn did not add much to the running game. Rico Dowdle had 8 carries for 26 yards, averaging 3.3 yards per carry. These numbers will not work for this offense. Deuce Vaughn was not allowed to impact any aspect of the game. He only had 1 carry for 4 yards. The 2 players with the best average running the ball were the starting wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks. Lamb had 3 carries for 25 yards, averaging 8.3 yards. To add to the running game, Brandon Cooks had 1 rush for 5 yards. Who could help solve the running game issue?